You've been taking vitamins faithfully every morning, believing you're doing something good for your health. But what if I told you 3 of those common supplements might actually be sabotaging your independence? It sounds counterintuitive, I know. After 4 decades as a geriatric specialist, I've seen something troubling. Vitamins E, A, and B6, when taken incorrectly, can gradually weaken your leg muscles, affect your balance, and compromise your mobility. This isn't about scare tactics. It's about information you deserve to know. Many of my patients were shocked to discover their well-intentioned supplement routine was actually working against them, creating problems they mistakenly attributed to just getting older. Before we dive in, I'd love to know which city you're watching from. Drop it in the comments below, and if you want more evidence-based health insights, hit that subscribe button and like this video. Now let's look at the first vitamin that might be silently affecting your strength. 1. The silent muscle weakener. Vitamin E. Remember the last time you hesitated before taking that first step on the stairs? Or when getting out of your favorite chair suddenly required a little extra push? Like many of my patients, you probably dismiss these moments as just part of getting older. But what if I told you the vitamin E supplement in your medicine cabinet might be partly responsible? Take my patient Richard from Florida, a vibrant 72-year-old who prided himself on walking 2 miles every morning. "Doc," he said during one visit, "my legs just don't feel like they belong to me anymore." Despite his consistent exercise routine, Richard was experiencing progressive weakness. The culprit? The 800 IU vitamin E supplement he'd been taking daily for over a decade. Here's what makes vitamin E tricky. Unlike vitamin C, which your body easily flushes out when there's too much, vitamin E is fat soluble. This means it doesn't just pass through. It accumulates in your fatty tissues and liver over time. According to recent Mayo Clinic research, when levels climb too high, typically above 400 IU daily, vitamin E can actually interfere with how your muscles function. The science is fascinating, if a bit concerning. Excess vitamin E disrupts normal muscle metabolism and can even impair how nerve signals travel to your muscles. It's like having static on a phone line. The message from your brain to your legs gets garbled along the way. You might be experiencing this right now without realizing it. Those moments when you need to use your arms to push yourself up. The slight unsteadiness when turning quickly. That new hesitation before stepping off a curb. These could be early warning signs. What's particularly concerning is that vitamin E supplements often interact with medications many of us take after 60. If you're on blood thinners like warfarin, or even daily aspirin, high-dose vitamin E essentially doubles down on that effect, increasing your risk of bruising and complications from falls. So what's considered safe? The National Institute on Aging recommends adults get about 15 milligrams, 22.5 international units of vitamin E daily, an amount easily obtained through a balanced diet. Supplements containing 100 to 400 IU are where we start seeing problems, especially with long-term use. I'm not suggesting you throw out all your supplements today, but I do recommend checking that vitamin E bottle in your cabinet. What dose are you taking? Have you been taking it for years without reassessing? Has your doctor specifically recommended it, or did you start it on your own? I'd love to hear your experience. Have you noticed any unexplained changes in your leg strength over the years? Share in the comments below. Your insight might help someone else connect the dots in their own health journey. Now let's look at another common vitamin that might be secretly affecting your bone strength and mobility. 2. The secret cause of weak bones and muscles, vitamin A. But vitamin A is essential for good vision. I hear this all the time from my patients when I suggest they might be getting too much, and they're absolutely right. Vitamin A is crucial for healthy eyes, immune function, and skin. The problem isn't vitamin A itself, it's the amount and how our bodies process it as we age. What many health-conscious adults don't realize is that after 60, our bodies become less efficient at clearing certain nutrients, including vitamin A. That daily multivitamin, plus your eye health supplement, added to vitamin A fortified cereals and dairy products, might be pushing you well beyond what's beneficial. Margaret from Minnesota discovered this the hard way. At 68, despite her calcium supplements and regular walking, she suffered a hip fracture from a minor fall. During her recovery, we discovered her vitamin A levels were nearly twice the recommended range. "But I'm just taking what the bottle recommends," she told me, puzzled. The Journal of Bone and Mineral Research published a compelling study showing that women with high vitamin A intake had significantly lower bone density and nearly double the rate of hip fractures compared to those with moderate intake. Why? Excess vitamin A actually stimulates the cells that break down bone, while suppressing the cells that build it up. Exactly what we don't want as we age. Like vitamin E, vitamin A is fat-soluble and accumulates in your body. It settles particularly in your liver and fatty tissues, including those surrounding your bone marrow. Over time, these elevated levels can silently weaken both your bones and the muscles that support them. The warning signs are subtle and easily mistaken for normal aging. Increasing brittleness in bones, unexplained muscle soreness, difficulty recovering from minor strains, and that general feeling that your body isn't bouncing back like it used to. The trickiest part, vitamin A hides in plain sight. It's in your multivitamin, often as retinol or retinol palmitate, separate eye supplements, fortified breakfast cereals, dairy products, and liver. If you still enjoy that Sunday pate. For adults over 60, the recommended daily allowance is 900 micrograms for men and 700 micrograms for women. But many people unknowingly consume several times this amount. "So what should I do?" Margaret asked me during her recovery. We started by cataloging all her sources of vitamin A and reduced her supplements to keep her total daily intake below 3,000 micrograms, 10,000 international units, the threshold where most research shows problems begin. Have you checked your vitamin A intake lately? It might be worth taking a moment to add up what's in your supplements and fortified foods. I'd be interested to hear what you discover. Sometimes we're all surprised by the total when we actually do the math. Next, let's examine how vitamin B6, often taken for energy, might be affecting the very nerves that control your legs. 3. The energy booster that may numb your legs, vitamin B6. It usually begins with a faint tingling in your toes, almost like that feeling when your foot falls asleep, except it doesn't fully go away. Soon you might notice your shoes feel strange, as though something's stuck inside them. Maybe you find yourself grabbing stair railings more often, not because you're dizzy, but because you can't quite feel where your feet are landing. These aren't just random aging symptoms. They could be signs of vitamin B6 toxicity, and it's more common than you might think. David from Arizona came to me utterly confused. At 74, he prided himself on his health regimen, including a high-potency B complex, an energy booster supplement, and a senior multivitamin. I thought I was doing everything right, he told me. Instead, I can barely feel my feet anymore. When we calculated his total B6 intake, we discovered he was consuming over 200 milligrams daily, about 100 times the recommended amount. Like many people, David assumed that since B vitamins are water-soluble, excess would simply wash out in urine. While that's generally true, B6 is the exception that proves the rule. The National Institutes of Health recently published research showing that at high doses, B6 can actually alter nerve function. The vitamin's active form can accumulate in nerve tissue, causing damage to the protective coating around nerve fibers, particularly those long nerves running all the way down to your feet and legs. The irony isn't lost on me. A vitamin meant to support nerve function can actually damage nerves when taken to excess. And it's hiding in places you might not expect. Energy drinks, sleep formulas. Yes, B6 is in both energy and sleep products. Stress supplements, and those Mega B complex formulations that promise increased vitality. What's especially concerning is that this nerve damage can become permanent if not caught early. The safe upper limit for adults is around 100 milligrams daily, but problems can start at much lower doses with long-term use. Many of my patients improved once we adjusted their intake to the recommended 1.7 milligrams daily for men and 1.5 milligrams for women over 50. The stakes are higher than just uncomfortable tingling. When you can't feel your feet properly, your fall risk skyrockets. Your independence, whether that's driving, shopping, or playing with grandchildren, depends on reliable nerve function. Has anyone else noticed occasional tingling or numbness in their feet or legs? I'd love to hear your experiences in the comments. Sometimes sharing these subtle symptoms helps others recognize their own warning signs. 4. What this means for you. Let me be clear about something important. If you're taking vitamins, you're doing so because you care about your health. You're trying to do the right thing, and I deeply respect that. The confusion here isn't your fault. We're all bombarded with conflicting health information. One study says take this supplement, another warns against it. Even doctors sometimes give contradictory advice. It's enough to make anyone's head spin, and frankly, I get frustrated by it too. What matters now isn't looking backward or feeling concern about what you might have been taking. What matters is moving forward with better information. Think about what your legs allow you to do. Stand up from a restaurant chair without assistance. Walk through a garden. Play with grandchildren. Travel to places you've always wanted to see. These aren't small things. They're the essence of independent living and joy in your golden years. You might have noticed subtle changes. Perhaps you're a bit more cautious on stairs, or you need a moment longer to find your balance when standing. Maybe getting out of the car takes more effort than it used to. These aren't necessarily just aging. They could be signals that something specific needs attention. The good news? Your body has remarkable resilience. I've seen patients who made simple adjustments to their supplement regimen experience significant improvements in strength, balance, and overall mobility within just weeks. The human body wants to heal when given the right conditions. This isn't about fear, it's about empowerment. Having this knowledge allows you to make better choices. You're not a passive passenger in your health journey. You're the driver. I'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed any changes in your leg strength or balance over the past few years? Sometimes acknowledging these subtle shifts is the first step toward addressing them. And remember, what you might have attributed to just getting older could actually have a specific, addressable cause. Let's talk about practical steps you can take right now to protect your strength and independence. 5. Practical steps to take now. Let's get practical. Here's what you can do this week to start taking control. First, gather all your supplements in one place, including multivitamins, individual vitamins, specialty blends, sleep aids, and energy boosters. Read each label carefully, noting the amounts of vitamins E, A, and B6. Add them up to get your total daily intake. Many people are shocked to discover they're taking multiple products with overlapping ingredients. Next, schedule time with your healthcare provider. Don't worry about feeling embarrassed. Good doctors appreciate proactive patients. Ask specifically, can we check my vitamin A, E, and B6 levels? Request a comprehensive nutrient panel that includes these vitamins plus related markers. If your doctor seems dismissive, it's reasonable to say, "This is important to my quality of life. I'd like to rule out these factors." While waiting for your appointment, Consider natural food sources for these vitamins. For vitamin E, look to almonds, sunflower seeds, and avocados. For vitamin A, enjoy orange vegetables like carrots and sweet potatoes, which contain beta-carotene, a safer form of vitamin A. For B6, incorporate chickpeas, salmon, and bananas. These whole foods provide nutrients in forms your body recognizes and processes efficiently. The National Institute on Aging, ne.nih.gov, offers excellent resources for seniors about supplement safety. Another reliable source is consumerlab.com, which independently tests supplements for accuracy and purity. Remember, the FDA doesn't regulate supplements as strictly as medications, so quality varies widely. Consider keeping a simple nutrient diary for a week. Note both supplements and fortified foods like cereals, energy bars, and enriched grains, which often contain added vitamins. This gives you a complete picture of your intake from all sources. Most importantly, make changes gradually. Don't suddenly stop all supplements. Work with your healthcare provider to develop a personalized approach based on your specific health needs, medication interactions, and nutrient levels. I'm curious, what's the most surprising thing you've discovered about your supplements? Have you ever found duplicate ingredients across different products? Share your findings below to help others in our community become more aware. 6. A message from experience. I want to speak to you not just as a healthcare professional, but as someone who's walking this same path. At 72, I understand firsthand the determination to maintain independence and strength as the years pass. 10 years ago, I experienced my own wake-up call. Despite considering myself knowledgeable about health, I found myself struggling with unexplained fatigue and weakness. My legs, once strong enough to hike mountain trails, could barely carry me through a grocery store without resting. I dismissed it as inevitable aging until a colleague suggested checking my supplement regimen. The revelation was humbling. As a health professional, I'd accumulated numerous supplements over the years, creating unintentional overlap and excessive intake. After adjusting my approach, the improvement was remarkable. Within months, I regained strength I thought was lost forever. That experience transformed both my personal health practices and how I counsel patients. The wisdom of our years gives us perspective that younger generations lack. We know that true health isn't about appearance or following the latest trend. It's about maintaining the mobility and independence to live life fully, to continue contributing our gifts to the world. What I've learned through my own journey and from thousands of patients is this: decline isn't inevitable. Adaptation is necessary. Yes, thoughtful care becomes more important, absolutely. But surrender to weakness? That's optional. The connection between physical capability and emotional well-being runs deep. When we can move with confidence, our entire outlook brightens. We're more likely to engage socially, pursue interests, and experience the joy that makes life rich at any age. I encourage you to approach this information not from fear, but from self-respect. You've navigated decades of life's complexities. You have the wisdom and strength to make adjustments that serve your well-being. What daily activities matter most to you? What would you do more confidently with stronger legs? Your answer reveals what's worth protecting through mindful choices about what you put in your body. I invite you to share that vision in the comments. It might inspire someone else to take their first step toward reclaiming strength they thought was lost. The vitamins you take should support your independence, not undermine it. The knowledge you've gained today isn't meant to frighten, but to empower you to make informed choices. Your strength, mobility, and freedom to enjoy life on your terms are worth protecting. This week, have that conversation with your healthcare provider about your supplements. Review labels. Listen to what your body might be telling you. I'd love to hear your experiences or questions in the comments below. Remember, making adjustments now could mean years of greater strength and independence ahead. You've navigated decades of life's challenges successfully. With this information, you're equipped to make choices that keep you standing strong for years to come.